Hey everybody, Greg Pruitt here with Idaho Dispatch, and I am joined today by Mr. Nate Silvester. How are you today?
I'm good.
Awesome. So, in your wildest dreams, did you ever think that your nickname would be the TikTok cop
No.
across the country?
No, I don't think there's any way I could have ever anticipated that.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, you made a famous video, right, on TikTok.
Yeah.
I don't know, mocking LeBron James because he had done some stuff. So can you kind of explain people a little bit about what you did and why you did it?
Well, LeBron James had posted a tweet essentially targeting a police officer in Columbus, Ohio after a shooting that officer was involved in. And my video was a response to LeBron James's tweet, essentially pointing out his complete and utter ignorance of anything law enforcement related. But every time there's an incident regarding law enforcement, LeBron James likes to use his national platform to weigh in on it and trash police officers. And so my video was simply a response to that. And like you accurately described, it was a mockery of LeBron James. And a lot of people really enjoyed it and thought it was funny and thought it was right on the mark. And of course, there were a lot of other people that didn't appreciate it.
So you were in Bellevue, correct?
Right.
And ultimately, were you fired because of that video or because of other things, or what was the reason?
Well, so, officially, on paper, I was fired for violating our department's social media policy. But, I think anybody who can read between the lines and kind of knew the backstory between, from my relationship with the elected officials there in Bellevue, it was purely political. There's support for law enforcement somehow has become a partisan issue, and they took my video and construed it as insensitive or racist or however they wanted to spin it. And so but really what it was a conflict between political perspectives. They knew that I leaned conservative, and they're very liberal up there, and so they didn't appreciate what I had to say, and they found a reason to fire me for it.
Okay. Now, when you did the video, you were obviously in a squad car, you're in uniform.
Yeah.
Is that something that you're allowed to do, or, like on break or at lunch, or what's the...
Well, at the time, it wasn't prohibited. My marshal at the time, she was friends with me on TikTok. She knew that I was creating TikTok videos. She'd seen me in my uniform in those videos. That particular video was actually done while I was off duty and posted while I was off duty. So I was made to understand that my videos, which were very pro law enforcement, were appreciated by the city of Bellevue, and at least by the marshal. So it wasn't until the LeBron James TikTok that sort of really stood up against the woke, radical, far left narrative of anti-police, defund the police, those narratives that they're pushing, where suddenly it became an issue for them. So.
Okay. So what's life been like since you're no longer on the force? What is Nate up to these days?
Well, I've got the book coming out, Never Off Duty. It'll be released September 30th, and that's been a really fun and meaningful project for me. It will give readers a very revealing look at what it's like to be a police officer in the year 2021, and the societal pressures they face, and some of the personal stuff that they have to deal with within themselves and their relationships with their families and administrators. And then I'm still creating pro-law enforcement content on social media. On TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I've got a pretty good following there still. So still just trying to spread the message of the necessity of good law enforcement officers, and trying to help them understand that they do have support from people who, commonsensically understand that it's a necessity to have a stable police force in our communities.
Okay. Well, I guess one of the last questions is, there's a lot of discussion about law enforcement right now and use of force and what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. Are there things within the law enforcement community that you think do need to change, or do you think the way that things are now are okay, or is that a department by department basis? Or
it's really interesting to see some of the things that people are pushing for and suggesting as far as police reform. A lot of it are things that police officers are already doing, such as crisis intervention training, people responding to people who are in a mental health crisis. Police officers already receive that type of training, and it's de-escalation training. That's the very essence of of police work. Police officers go to a scene to de-escalate. So it's nothing new that they're proposing, but what they're suggesting is that police officers are just these, wild cards, out there looking to shoot first and ask questions later, and that's just simply not reality. So I'm trying to help people understand what the reality of police work is, so that they stop misidentifying what the problems are.
Okay. All right. Well, anything in closing as far as if people want to learn more about you or watch some of your work, where do they go?
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok under Nate's Wilden, so the NATESWILDN. Actually, on TikTok now, it's Nate's Wilden 3.0. TikTok actually banned my first 2 accounts, so that's a topic for another time, I'm sure, as far as the censorship with social media. On YouTube, I'm also Nate's Wilden, so you can go to those social media platforms and find me there.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
No problem.